Now who gotta move rockin' on? Now who wanna move crossin' on? Now who wanna move out on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange bottle, bingo bottle, never stop it. To the beast and know 'em. Who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen, we gon' show the world.
What's up everybody? This is Ted Karras for the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincy Hat, and you're watching Bengals and Brews.
Welcome to Bengals and Brews. I'm your co-host, Greg Luther. Still waiting on some other guys to come in. How we doing? Well, I don't know. I mean, you know what? Let's start out with Logan Wilson. You know, Logan, thank you for all you've done in Cincinnati, buddy. You know, we appreciate you for an awesome career here, bud. And you know what? I just have nothing but great memories of you. Those awesome playoff runs, buddy. You did a hell of a job, man. You know, and we're going to miss you, buddy, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck in Dallas. But let's see who we got in the chat here. The chat's storming right now. Let's see who we got. We got Andrew. How you doing, buddy? Did you read? Yeah, I heard about something like that. We got Stranger, Houday Stranger, KP from KC. How we doing? Yeah, yep, Trey Day. Well, I don't know if it's Trey Day. I think Trey's staying from all the moves we've been seeing. My man, Darth, Houday Darth. How we doing? Rob, how we doing, buddy? You know, yeah, I know, buddy. It's a rough day and all that, man. From a positive person such as myself, this is a hard time. Tina, always good to see you. How we doing? Ryan. Yeah, sorry to hear that, buddy. I'm having bad luck myself, man, with trying to get my Twitter back, man. It's rough, buddy. I'm sorry this happened, Ryan. KP, Jets won one game and traded. I know. We lost to the Jets, and they traded everybody. I know, buddy. Let's see here. Shanda, Houday. Right now, man, I'm just doing what I can right now, buddy. Just keeping it going. You know, like I say, we're just doing what we can right now, keeping it going. We have someone hopping on shortly. A 7th-round pick for real. Yeah, I know. It's more of a money thing. You kind of wish. Yeah, I mean, like I say, what were we really going to get for Logan? I mean, he was going to leave anyway, so it is what it is. I know, though, it's frustrating. I would have liked to have gotten a 5th round myself. Houday Jerome, Houday Matt. Yeah, the Cowboys. Yeah, it's coming. I mean, let's face it, guys. With the trades, especially with Dallas made, I guarantee you Dallas tried like hell to get Trey from us. I mean, Trey's staying. In my case, before someone hops on, well, tell you what, let me get to the sponsors first. Midwest Best Barbecue and the Chop Shop, proud sponsors of this show. You cannot go wrong with either of these right here. Chop, it's just been knocking out of the park with all this stuff, man. Oh, my God. I probably bought, like, not as many as Matt did, but a crap load of shirts, and I love each and every one of them I can wear. And Midwest Best Barbecue, I'm telling you all this. Our Project Game Day tailgates are fun, but this one's going to be even more fun, you know, with Midwest Best Catering. So make sure you stop by Lot 1 to get you some Midwest Best Barbecue. It's going to be an awesome time. Yeah, it's just, guys, look, you all know me as a very positive person. I totally get that. And we got Dustin in here right now. Dustin, I've been going solo. What's up, Dustin?
Oh, are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh, we're live. Wow.
Yes.
That was quick.
Hey, man, I've been having to take over the show at 3:15, so I got to learn sometime, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're a good host, bro.
I'm trying to be positive here, Dustin, but yeah, I'm getting put to the test here. So, Dustin, man, let's just cut to the chase. Well, first of all, give Logan Wilson. I mean, thank you for a good career here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think the year that we drafted him, you know, it's always cool to see a linebacker come out of a smaller school. You know, it's always a good story. Small town, Wyoming boy, you know, makes himself, you know, on his way to Cincinnati. And, you know, really strong start to his career. Interesting enough, you know, when obviously he signed his deal, that's when, you know, a compilation of injuries, maybe a little play, maybe a little loss of athleticism, started to slow down. And I think, you know, the Bengals recognizing that in the contract that they executed with him, you know, I can almost say that contract never really kind of came with the investment you wanted out of it, right? But the years up to that point, I mean, when you look back and you see that Logan Wilson, BJ Hill, Trey Hendrickson, the last like remaining players on that Super Bowl defense, it does show how fast things can turn over, in this league. I think we all know that, but a little bit of sadness too, right? It's like,
Right.
As a Bengals fans, we were, riding pretty high, coming off that Super Bowl, AFC championship, maybe even a few plays away from going back to a Super Bowl. And to we are now, it's just, there's a little bit of sadness there for sure.
There is sadness because Logan, I was a bigger fan of Akeem Davis-Gator. I was more excited for him, but I was happy we got Logan in the third round that year in the draft. Logan was just, oh my God, dude, he just blossomed a great linebacker. And dude, it's just, you hate to see these guys go. You want to think these guys are going to be here forever, forever, and forever. And that's just not how it works, man. That's just not how it goes here, man.
Yeah. And I think part of this too is there's ownership on where we are as a franchise, where we are with our record this year. And where we need to go, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think we've hit that. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. There's a lot of opinions and things along those lines. But I feel like as an organization, this is, to me, in my eyes, and how I would like to see them go about it, and how I think we need to go about it to be successful moving forward. We talked about the draft and being successful there. We talked about possibly moving players with trades and adding to stockpiling draft picks so you can build your team as we have a lot of holes. The other layers of this too is, myself, you, Dale, Chop have talked ad nauseum about just the structure of the entire organization. And the other part of this too is coaching, right? So you have all these different facets when you look at the Bengals and where we are as an organization, that it kind of is all coming like to a tipping point all at one time. I think there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack as I think about this. I said all that to kind of say it does feel like it's time to just kind of like hit a hard reset, right? Talking about moving off of, possibly Duke Tobin, restructuring. From a coaching staff perspective, Zach has done a lot of great things with the offense. I just think, a lot of people are like, hey, let's go get a new GM. Well, guess what a GM is going to want to do? They're going to want to bring their own coach in with them, right? So I don't think you can have one without the other. I think they come mutually exclusive. So with how the NFL operates like that, I just kind of feel like it's a time to tear it down and rebuild. I think offensively we're okay. Like, I think we can talk about left tackle, Orlando Brown, probably got to start thinking about another move there, things along those lines. But on the defensive side, there's so many holes and there's so much there. But I think it's just like an organization. I've been thinking about this since our last game. It is time to just kind of like tear it all down, right, and just start anew. That's where I want to go. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. Tell you what, my brother-in-law, who's the Colts fan, when I texted him about Sauce, he's like, "Wait, what?" So,
how many of those have you talked about, Greg? I'm sure you guys probably talked about Logan and just got a 7th rounder in return, which I was like, man, that sucks. I think because I seen they didn't have any 6th. And I was like, man, can we at least get the flip? They have 3 5ths. So I'm like, could we do that? Give them one of our 6th, get their worst 5th even. But I know Logan didn't have any value when obviously you benched him. The writing was on the wall. So I get it. Like, the more I thought about it, like, a lot of Twitter, like, you guys are right. Shouldn't have expected anything more than a 7th for Logan Wilson. And you got $2.55 million. You got to eat some dead money, but that is cap cleared space, $2.55 million for next year. So not that I trust them to use it or use it all. And we've talked about the free agency class right now. Don't look good. No. Don't look good at all. But I mean, there's always guys, and you just got to find them. And you got to take as many swings as possible, you know. Get the Dalton Reisners, get the Von Bells like we did that one year, you know. Like, he was a late addition. Like, just take as many swings as possible. Guys will get cut, you know, too, when teams are trying to add other free agents. So, I don't know. So, there's that deal. Did you guys already discuss that before I hopped on, Logan?
We were, a little bit. We were just kind of talking about just preferencing just kind of like where we're at with the Bengals organization and what we think needs to be done moving forward. But haven't got into like the super specifics of any of the trades yet. So,
and Dale, you'll be proud of me. For the first couple minutes, I started the show myself. So,
yeah, I saw that. See, I was in there on the treadmill, and Maya was like, "Your show started," and I was like, oh, "We weren't starting until 3:30." I was like, and then
I thought it was 3:15. I like Dale. I was in a rush.
You didn't say anything after I said 3:15, and I said,
I gave it a thumbs up. I clicked on the thumbs up, Dale.
I said I'll set it for 3:30.
Okay,
Dale.
I was in a rush, man.
It's all good, brother.
We are off-season heathens. We like this stuff. So, like,
I apologize, Dale. I was in a rush. I'm like,
no, I'm fine with you starting it early. I just didn't know, and I was like, no. And then she's like, Greg's on there. I was like, oh shit, I better get down there.
When Dustin comes on, Dustin's like hair's all messed up. He's like, wait a minute, we're on live? I'm like, well, yeah, Dustin, it's 3:15. And I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I just got out of the little lunchtime workout myself. So I'm like, kind of still.
Hey, Dale, now I know if I'm in a situation, now you know you can trust me to start the show.
There you go, Greg. You did it. You're a big boy now.
Oh, hell yeah, buddy.
You're
but
like,
no, Logan specifically.
Holding the sword.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he was, man. He did it all by himself. I'm proud of him. But yeah, Logan in general, like, wish him well. Obviously, he was a good player here for a long time. It's just the youth movement started, and it's not looking good right now. But, you know, people was posting PFF grades of Logan and Pratt in their, you know, first half of their first year. So all we can hope for, and it's just hope, because what we've seen on the field doesn't inspire from Carter and Knight right now. But you hope they start getting better throughout this season, right? And going in then to next year, you'd have two young guys, hopefully, locking down the position. That's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. Like, in the NFL, you're going to have a youth movement at some point. You just hope to weather the storm and the pieces are around them are good. I don't think, like, the play of Carter and Knight would stick out as more if we had good pieces around them, right? Like,
better D-line, a better pass rush, better safety play behind them, you know, that was making the tackle that they missed, because it's just a combination. They miss the tackle, then the safety misses the tackle, and then it's 40 yards downfield.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where you have to, that's where it's like, you know, Dale, you and Greg, you guys being like draft guys, like, when you miss or guys don't develop, like, they're kind of mutually exclusive, because you call them a miss now, but at the time, maybe the Miles Murphy pick, like, some front offices are like, oh, that might have been a steal, you know, that he fell that low.
Yeah.
But when the guys don't develop over time, and then you stack on misses on top of that from that class, this is what you get. You get a defense that just is ravaged with bad players. And when you bring in new players and you try to ramp them up, they're not surrounded by a lot of good players. That's where it's like the Nick Amaroris of the world go to Seattle, or the Malachi Starks go to Ravens, and they have a lot of solid pieces. Those guys can learn and grow and flourish. Like, we just need to be able to put those pieces in for these rookies that come in. So that way, when they go through their learning pain, you don't feel it as much.
Yeah, and Andrew, I mean, it is. It's good to have a youth movement, or you got to have a youth movement at some time a little bit. But the Bengals have been bad at developing the players and bad about the picks, development. How, you know, we're not there on the day-to-day. So it is one of those things. Like, now, did they reach on some guys based on where I had them on my board even? I can sit here and say, yeah, I thought they reached on a lot of guys, you know, 2 rounds early for a lot of these players. But there's also guys I thought, you know, was pretty good value where they got him, like a Jordan Battle. And he hasn't lived up to what I thought he would be. You know, Jordan Battle in the 3rd round was not bad value. And that's a guy that played at Alabama for 4 years and looked good with the rest of that talent at Alabama around him, you know, that he was a part of. So you get here and the talent's just not up to par. And I also get to look at my guy, Walter Nolan, who made his NFL debut and looked like an absolute stud. And I'm going, one pick. It hurt so much, man, because we had we had Andrew Fox Miller on our draft show that night, and he's like, they're going to take Walter Nolan. Like 3 or 4 picks before that. Like, that's who the Bengals are taking if he's there. And then he goes 1 pick. And I thought they were joking with me. I thought they were messing with me. I was like, no, the Cardinals didn't take him. And they're like, no, they really did. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And
Frank Ragnow all over again, buddy. Frank Ragnow all over again.
Did you see there was a quote from Cowboys because they were debating between Tyler Booker and Walter Nolan with their pick, and they went with Booker, obviously, and then they faced off against each other last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Booker had some wins too. It wasn't like total domination, but Walter Nolan definitely made plays, and you could just see the burr. And that's the thing, like, we talk about player development, like a lot of these players that are coming in already, like the Devin Azarikis, like the Walter Nolans, Nick for the Seattle, like these guys are already making plays. Like the thing in like the NFL, I think the development kind of part of things is loosely used because like the coaches don't even really get a lot of times with these guys, right? Like you do need players that like there is a certain level of development, but you also need them to come in and like show some flashes.
Yeah.
And, you know, things like that. And like our picks this year, Shamar Stewart, no flashes. Dylan Fairchild been really solid. Rivers solid. So we're having a little bit of that, but from the defensive side of things, it's like, yeah, not much is working there right now.
Yeah, and when we talk about like production and Shamar didn't have the sacks and this and that, but it's even deeper than that, you know, that PFF has like, you know, win percentages and then they have stop percentages for run defense. And like I went back through because I was just curious because it was Walter Nolan and Mason Graham last year were the two guys. It was like 17% or higher win rate on true pass sets and 10% or higher stop percentage as a run defender. Like the hit rate in the last 10 years on defensive tackles with that kind of numbers for both was insane. You know, it's your Vita Veas, it's all these guys, you know, and it's like, I'm telling you right now, I'd take Walter Nolan, you know, like, and that's why I was like, just the history, the hit rate. And I'm not saying that I'm smarter or, you know, all these people are smarter on Twitter that love the draft, but it's like, do the Bengals even go back and do that much research on things like that? I really wonder sometimes because it was just something I was curious about. So I went back and did it myself all these years and charted, okay, who had this much percent, that much percent. And it's all these guys who are like Quinnen Williams, you know, the best damn defensive tackles in the NFL, and all translated when you can do both.
100%. It's you know, that's one of the things I didn't want to face, like with the Bengals, you know, being a fan. It's like, oh yeah, we got the tools and the things, and like, yeah, maybe it's a smaller staff that actually with tools and technology, maybe you don't need these bloated like scouting departments like the Browns have. They got like 1 million scouts, but then you start to think like, oh, they're not even using the tools and technology that's available to them in the right way. That's where it's like, yeah, you're missing on these guys. And are you drafting projects because it just like you're just looking at traits rather than production when it should be both, and it's right in front of your face. It's very disappointing.
So what was everybody's thoughts? We'll switch over to the Sauce Gardner trade. Didn't expect him to necessarily get traded, but the Jets are in a fire sale mode. We'll talk about Quinnen Williams here in a minute. But 2 first-round picks, and my initial thought was Lou Anarumo. Like, it was time to go. Like, you haven't heard me sit here and like, oh, Lou, but just the sheer fact, like, hey, I'm coaching this team, and you're going to make a move to go get me a guy like Sauce Gardner for my defense. Like, how ecstatic. There's no way that he could even thought that was possible when he was here with the Bengals.
Absolutely.
So what are our thoughts on that? And 2 first is a lot. Like, the Jets have recouped some good value in these deals. I will say that for them. If you're going to fire sell, at least fire sell right, and that's what they're doing.
And they got A.D. Mitchell also.
Yeah. 2 first and A.D. Mitchell, the wide receiver that, hey, just see if he can be anything.
Yeah, you know, I mean, my brother-in-law, I texted him immediately. He's like, wait, what? He was shocked, man. He did not see that coming because the Colts have been very quiet about it, but he's liking it, man. I think he's just liking the fact they're taking a chance, bud. So, I mean, if I was a Bengals fan right now, I mean, like if I'm in that mode, I'm happy. I mean, aren't you guys happy as hell? Because I'm happy as hell about this.
If I was the Colts, yeah, I would be like, hell yeah, we're going for it. Like, you know, we're in the mix. Now, everything's still going to come down to Daniel Jones for that team. He looked like the old Daniel Jones, but he played well all season. So you're trying to do more on the defense to even, lessen his load. And you still got Jonathan Taylor. So, and when it gets to playoff football and some of these cold weather games and things like that you may have in the playoffs, having a Jonathan Taylor and a good defense is going to be more important than what Daniel Jones can do, honestly, potentially for them to win and advance. So I love the move for both teams, really. The Jets getting something when their season's done. I mean, they won their one game against the measly Cincinnati Bengals. Everyone could beat that team. But, to go for it for the Colts, I liked it. How about you, Dustin?
Yeah, you always appreciate teams that fire away. Like I think they're probably looking at the AFC and kind of seeing that this is a really good opportunity this year. There's no super strong team. I thought, well, the Chiefs beat the Bills in the playoff or the regular season last year, and the Bills got them. So don't want to take too much for that, but I think like you look at the Chiefs, you look at the Bills. I mean, the Steelers, Steelers always have a game like this. I kind of obviously we picked them to beat the Colts, but when they look around and you see like how open the AFC is, I think there's not a better time to just execute on something like that. Now, as it pertains to Sauce Gardner, pretty interesting. There's some stats that show he has the lowest separation rate. So he's on these receiver hips and not letting up a lot of separation. He's the best in the league. On the flip side, he's one of the worst in contested catches and things along the line, which is very surprising because he has long arms and he has pretty good ball skills. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how that works out with the Colts and what they can coach out of them with that. And I think, a lot of times when players go to better teams and better opportunities, you see them start to flourish a little bit because they're just bad vibes, bad team. Things were crumbling around the Jets, and they're clearly rebuilding. So I think for the Colts, it's excellent. It's an excellent move. They already have a really stout defensive line. Their linebackers, okay, but this definitely adds to the secondary, and it just lets those defensive linemen cover in the back end and let them get after it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, another Bearcat. Alec Pierce is reuniting with Sauce Gardner, so that's a cool thing right there. How about my Bearcats? But I mean,
so Greg is basically adopting the Colts from the sounds of it. Like he's just joining his brother-in-law's bandwagon.
Hey, JB, buddy, if you're watching this, man, I might have to hop on just a tad bit right now, buddy. I've never had any hatred towards the Colts or anything. I mean, but God dang it, man. If Sauce Gardner was here in Cincinnati, Midwest Best would be coming with a perfect wing for this. God dang it. But hey, highest paid corner in the league. I mean, like I say, I'm happy for the Colts, man. They deserve it. I'm happy for Lou. Lou was like, oh my God, I'm given a Porsche right here. I've always had to work with a 1982 Buick Regal most of the time.
So, Tyler Kelly, I'm guessing this is wishful thinking. I haven't seen that yet if it's happened. I did see that Breece Hall wants to be traded along with all these other Jets that are getting out. But our buddy Tyler here, the Steelers fan, is hoping that they can bring him to Pittsburgh. I don't think that's happening. Pittsburgh's, I don't know. They're probably just, we're good with what we have. But another move with the Jets. Go ahead.
Oh, no. After we're done talking about the Jets, I want to go back to their 2022 draft and have a conversation about that. But, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to go ahead and hit on the Quinnen Williams in case anybody hadn't heard about it or whatever, since we're doing a trade deadline show in general. Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. We already talked about Logan Wilson going to the Cowboys. I was surprised with that value. I was hearing just the second-round pick. They got the second-round pick this year. And a first next year, and Mozzie Smith. Listen, I know Mozzie Smith has not been good, but he's still 24 years old. He was drafted in the first round. And to just get him as a lottery ticket on top of this year's second and next year's first, for Quinnen Williams is great. Don't get it twisted. That's one of those guys that had those numbers. That's a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of defensive tackle. But that's quite a bit that they gave up for him. Once again, think maybe that could work out well for both teams. What were your thoughts on that one?
Go ahead, Dustin.
The Dallas is sure is making a lot of moves to finish 6-10. I actually don't know what Dallas is doing. But as far as hey, I guess you add a high-end player, still producing, still a really top-end player. That's I don't know. I don't know. That's like one of those where when I look at it, it's dependent upon the team. Like I don't love it for Dallas, but
They still need an edge rusher now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah, I
after
guess.
trading Micah, so it's kind of like
So it's hard to like evaluating the player Quinnen Williams on his own. Excellent, love the guy. I would say the
Same.
Bengals handled him pretty well a couple weeks ago. But anyways, shout out to Fairchild. But so as a player,
Thank
yeah, like, but as far as like what they traded for him and where Dallas is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be honest. Like, I guess you could say again with any of these trades, at least they're trying. But I mean, when you look at Dallas's secondary, it's atrocious. Like, they should have been going after Sauce Gardner, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that defense is a mess on the back end.
And you know what? They might have been in on him too, honestly,
Yeah.
and then pivoted to Quinnen. Already talking to the Jets. You know, the Jets were able to get 2 firsts and a player from the Colts, and they were like, "Sorry, Dallas."
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So, guys, we got 19 minutes left, right, till the trade deadline ends.
yeah.
Hey, but like I say, well, no, I'm thinking this. The Cowboys, they have multiple second-round picks. If I'm the Cowboys, give us a second-round. Wouldn't you trade your second-round pick also to get Trey? Right?
I mean, yeah, I think somebody might give a second. People were trying to say that they would give that the Bengals lowered their asking price to a second, but we don't know if there is a Bengals asking price. My guess is it's still a first, especially when they see Quinnen Williams go for a second and a first. And I'm not saying, you know, I know he's younger, this, that, and the other, but they get that both 2 picks and a player, and they're like, "Oh, you just want to give us a second or third for Trey?" They're probably like, "Nah, we're good." And I know there's something to be said about some of those guys are still under team control, or, you know, they got years on their contract where Trey is going to have to be paid as well, which hurts your value. But yeah, we'll see. So I guess, you know, just call our shot here. Anybody see Trey getting traded here at the last minute before 4:00? I want to say no, but would I trade him? Because I think it's 2 parts here for all of us to answer.
Yeah.
At this point, I probably would, but this has been my stance the whole time. If you don't plan on re-signing him, and at absolute minimum, if I'm not trading him for like even a second-round pick today, I'm putting the franchise tag on him after this season. I'm already making that decision right now because I'm not going to let him walk for a potential future third-round comp pick at best.
And the Jets are trying to trade Garrett Wilson. They're trying Breece Hall says, "Get me the hell." I can't imagine being Breece Hall. Why would you want to leave the Jets right now? Come on.
I mean, what are they building around? Armand Membu?
I have no idea what their plan is. They're just tearing everything.
Give us all the picks. Give us all.
Fireman Ed is trying to put out the fire for the Jets.
They probably feel like until we get a quarterback, nothing else matters. So we want as many picks as possible to get a quarterback.
Well, seriously, Fireman Ed, that huge Jets fan, he's probably getting his crew down there and saying, "What's going on? We got to put the fire out right here." Right?
Well, yeah. Do you like he left the organization for a little bit, then he came back?
I remember him leaving. I didn't like, and that's what I was going to say. Is he back?
I think he came back, but he
probably
might
left
again.
He probably left. Yeah, probably said, "Oh, good shit. Why did I come back?"
Yeah, he's like every time. Well, everybody got pumped on their draft class, you know, from 2022. Yeah. You know, and that's probably where there was a little bit of a resurgence there. Like, let's go through that draft class, and I think this kind of shows like us again being draft guys. The draft is everything in the NFL.
All right, whose draft are we going on?
The Jets.
The Jets, the team that's in the future, waiting for Sayan and Smith in 2027.
Yeah, well, they definitely are
says.
packaging, but it kind of goes to show though, even when like because some are like this is the best draft class that we've ever, or the best draft that the Jets that maybe historically the last like 10 or 15 years, and that's where a lot of people started to hop back on the Jets kind of bandwagon because like they acquired all these players and they have nothing to show for it. So it kind of just shows like culture coaching is really important. So first round pick, 4 overall with Sauce Gardner in the first round in the 2022 Jets. Round 1, number 10 overall, Garrett Wilson. So
I mean, 2 great picks to be fair, like 2 great players.
Yeah, great players. It's just crazy that this hasn't. Now,
They
round
can't win.
one,
Yeah, it hasn't translated to wins.
yeah, number 26 overall, Jermaine Johnson, the second.
He's been coming on. There's reported that there's second rounders out there for him.
Yeah. Like all these
They're trading this whole class, and it was you said 2022.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I don't know, the time's a flat circle. Like, are they just gonna get all these picks and just have this same thing happen again
3 years from now? Trade all those guys.
Yeah. So round 2, which rumor again, probably going to be traded, maybe. Number 36 overall, Breece Hall.
Great player.
3, I thought he would, step up a little bit more. Jeremy Ruckert, Ohio State boy. We don't need to go through the next rounds. I mean, Michael Clippmans is in there, that sort of thing. But yeah, just like when you
those are all your premium picks, right? You get to day 3, you're lucky to hit on 1 out of your day 3 picks. I mean, honestly, like in a good draft, you hit on 2 of your day 3 picks, but you're lucky to hit on 1. Honestly, the hit rate of it is so low. That's why it's so important to hit on those middle rounds. You almost expected to hit on your first round. Everyone has to hit on their first round, or it sets you back, and that's part of what's happening with the Bengals. But those middle rounds are so important. When you light third-round picks on fire, like we just did a couple years ago with 2 guys who've been inactive, that will set you back. And that's what's kind of happened. You have to hit on those first 3-round picks. It's so important. Let's talk a little more about some trades that happened earlier. Shaheed from the Saints to the Seahawks. And I know you've been on the Seahawks, and I think that's a good move for them, man. I mean, he's going to be fun. You already got Jigba. You've got who's the other guy we like? Torrey Horton, who was hurt last year. He probably would have went higher in the draft. And now you throw in Shaheed, a speedster, a downfield threat on top of those guys. How many weapons does Sam Darnold need? Any thoughts on that? I think it was like a 4th and 5th for him, but that's another team that's like, hey, we built and we built and we built. Now it's time to add a piece through trade.
I was a closet I've been a closet Seahawks fan since last year when they went and got Mike McDonald, and I saw the talent on their team, and now they add him and Torrey Horton. You know what I mean? That's our boy, Dale. Like, man, just like Seattle, just players all over. I mean, Witherspoon, he's been hurt unfortunately, but he's like one of my favorite players in the NFL, just the way that dude plays. But yeah, that's excellent. You're just adding to the weapons. Jackson Smith and Jigba, we saw the routed dude up, made him probably just want to quit football. Like, you throw that in with Rice with the speed, and then Horton's coming along as a rookie. They got Arroyo, the tight end. Like, I like him too. It is really cool to see Sam Darnold, everything he's been through, because he seems like a really good dude, right? And it's kind of awesome to see him surrounded with playmakers and how he's playing. It's really cool to see. So like lightweight, closeted, I'm like rooting for Seattle, like in the NFC. I think they're a fun team. So great.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and find a team to root for, honestly, if you're a Bengals fan, because, it's still fun to watch playoff football, but our team's not going to probably be in it for the 3rd straight year. So might as well find some teams you can low-key root for like that. I don't know if I found mine yet. I know Crypt Keeper would say the Bills, but man, I don't give a shit. It used to be the Saints, because the Saints would have all these Buckeye players, when they had Lattimore and they had all those, got Michael Thomas, like that would always be the team I'd kind of root for, for the NFC was the Saints there for a little while, but I don't really have that team right now, but we'll see. I mean, it's hard for me to even watch the NFL the way the Bengals lose. It's like, I can't even, like, we lose the way we've lost the last 2 weeks at one. I have no desire to watch the 4:00 games. I did tune in for a little of the Bills-Chiefs game toward the end of it because it was close, and I was like, fuck it. I still love football. I'm just mad at the Bengals. So I tuned on in. But another trade was Joe Tryon Shoyinka, the Browns.
Good job.
I mean, it's probably wrong, but and a 7th-round pick for a 6th-round pick. I don't even remember. Where did he go? It was somebody that got hurt. The Bears, right? The team we just played, because it was Dio Odeyingbo, or whatever, however you say that name as well.
$18 million that they set on fire.
But yeah, so that was another trade that happened today. And that's a guy who's a former first-round pick, but he's just for the Buccaneers. He's never worked out. I don't think he did anything in Cleveland. So whatever. But the Bears need some help, and he can at least be some depth there. And why not? It's just kind of a pick swap. But I want to go back real quick because I looked it up. So I was talking about how Walter Nolan had that 17 and 10 number that I try to look for those two stats: pass rush win rate on true pass sets being 17% or higher, and then 10% or higher, or around 10% or higher for stop rate. Because I look back at, and so many of the best defensive tackles have that. Walter Nolan last year, and the guy that went to the Browns, Mason Graham, were the only two last year that really were around that number that I was like, okay. You know, there's always like a small school guy that's not really, you know what I mean? That's not, it's different to me. I don't really count that. I'm sorry, I don't. And now some of those guys can pan out, but it's a little harder. I'm talking bigger school with those numbers. It says a lot, and the hit rate's really high. So I continue to mock Peter Woods a lot of times. I know people love the Buckeyes players, Reese, Downs. I do too. But if you're going to take a D tackle, Peter Woods right now is 17.6% win rate on true pass sets. Listen, I know Clemson hasn't been good this year, but his individual performance, he's hitting that mark. That's around what Walter Nolan was at last year. Now, Walter Nolan was getting more sacks, so I do think that's important. But his stop rate, 10.9%, which is excellent. So he hits both of those marks. Now, there's a guy I think that's going to go third, maybe even fourth round that I've liked this whole time, and no one hardly talks about him. They talk about all these other D tackles. It's Lee Hunter, who transferred to Texas Tech from UCF, Central Florida. He's at a 17.7% win rate on true pass sets, and he's just below that 10% mark as a run defender at 9.8%. So that's a low-key guy that, like, okay, the Bengals don't go with Peter Woods in the first. You know what I mean? You come back and you get a Lee Hunter in the third. I would like that. I would like that quite a bit.
Bro, so, obviously, I live in Utah. They played, Texas Tech was in Utah. And, Utah's got one of the better offensive lines in college football. He absolutely wrecked those dudes. Lee Hunter did.
Yeah,
I like that linebacker on Texas Tech too.
Jacob Rodriguez. Yeah. He's been moving up my boards. Aiden Fisher, who's been hurt for Indiana, is another guy who I wasn't, not really on either of those guys at all in summer scouting, but they bolted up to, mid-round territory already. Mm-hmm. Rodriguez is a freaking former quarterback. Yeah. So it's like he's got that athleticism, and he's just a dude that, some linebackers are just dudes.
Yep.
There's also a guy from Buffalo. I want to give my guy Newt a shout out for him because I've been watching. Newt shouted this guy out over the summer, and I know Buffalo had the guy last year who a lot of people loved, including Ryan in our chat, that's killing it with the Rams. He might even went undrafted, but the guy's killing it, Sean Dolak. But this year they got another linebacker, and his name is Red Murdoch, which, number one, phenomenal name, but I had not heard the name till summer scouting with Newt. And that guy is a fucking killer on the football field. Like, he will straight hit somebody. Like, the way he hits people is like, oh, maybe that should be a penalty, or, oh, he's going to get penalties. I don't give a shit. I want a guy like that. Shout out Red Murdoch. Got to get him in the draft guide because I was watching more of him the other day, and I'm like, damn, Newt was right. Shout out Newt for that, too, but from the summer. That guy will absolutely knock the piss out of somebody. Yeah, see, and Ryan, Red Murdoch. He says Murdoch might be better than Sean Dolak. Yeah, see, we're on the same page here. That's what I'm saying. So this Red Murdoch guy, you got to check him out, Dustin. I'm telling you.
I'm on it. I'm going to start looking at him. Khalil Mack came from Buffalo, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And where did Ivy play?
Who?
Where did Ivy play his first year before he transferred to Florida State? That wasn't Buffalo as well, right? Jared Ivey.
Wasn't Jared Ivey Ole Miss?
Was it? Okay, maybe you're right.
But I remember him in Ole Miss. I don't know before, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's had some dudes, straight up.
Yeah, it was Ole Miss. What am I talking about? Yeah. I thought he was, for some reason, I thought he was Buffalo Bulls. Yeah, they have, for sure. It's like, it's kind of funny how these like certain schools like there's a moment there where like people are.
Orson says Ivy was at Georgia Tech. But yeah, Kyle Kennard last year was another guy, South Carolina. I think he was Georgia Tech. Like Georgia Tech's had some guys that have transferred out.
Yeah. It's always just random, like how these random like MAC schools or whatever. Like, wasn't there a time there like Coastal Carolina kept putting defense linemen out too? Like, it was like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, they transfer like Cleve Lubin's at Louisville now, and he's the guy who transferred. Before that, it was the kid that was at Michigan last year, who's Josiah Stewart, which I don't know what he's done this year, but he was awesome for Michigan last year. He was a Coastal Carolina kid. Those, their body types are almost like linebackers, but they're pass rushers coming out of Coastal Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
Home of, why am I blanking on his name? Flippy guy that we took over Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, who?
Wide receiver, Greg.
Jerome Simpson.
Yeah,
God dang it! Well, you know who else I wanted? I wanted Lima Sweet also. I'm glad that didn't work out, but God damn it, that pissed me off. Remember, we found out from Coach what's his name that he knew that if they would have known that was Marvin, his grandfather knew Marvin Lewis, they would have picked him.
No, the Deshaun Jackson's grandpa founded Marvin Lewis and the Hayes brothers, their family's church. And they didn't know that about Deshaun Jackson. Had we known that, yeah, we probably would have taken him. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? Just hilarious shit like that. But KP with the super chat, appreciate you, brother. Give me thoughts on Dominique Owens from Iowa State.
Not your guy. That's not your guy.
Big Citrus.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your guy?
No, I'm Big Sandwich.
No, it's not your guy. Dale, that's not your guy.
He's not my guy.
I know, he's not your guy.
Whose guy is it?
I don't know. I don't think Big Citrus is my guy either.
I mean, he just doesn't give enough pass rush juice to me. I know his win rate's at like 21% because I was looking at that. He's a better just handle double teams, let linebackers come up and do their work. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's that great, but I know a lot of people love him. I mean, I think he's probably he's probably like a third round guy. You know what I mean? But some people think he's a late first round guy. I watched some of the games and I just don't see like a consistent impact game changer guy to take in like the top 50 even. But some people love him. So, and I know he's a big ass dude. And I love the nickname of Big Citrus. He's trying to one up you, Greg. This guy's nickname is Big Citrus. His name is Dominic
Big
Orange.
Sandwich. Let's get the sandwich and the citrus together in the same room, and then we'll see who's going to go smackdown.
Yeah, see, Ryan's not yet. Ryan says Big Citrus.
Are we going to trade? 2 minutes left. Get the paperwork done. Get the fax machine. Get the fax machine.
No, I'd say the fax machine isn't working.
No! Save it! Save it!
They unplugged the machine.
Help! Oh no, the internet went out!
They're on bye week.
I have to add some type of dramatic to this, man.
They went on bye week.
I really thought
I'm not a fan of Dominic Owens, causing Big Citrus will take him round 5. He just hasn't impressed me. Like, I don't know. Maybe we're wrong. And you've known him since 8th grade. His motor has never been hot. Yeah, I noticed that on tape. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he still probably goes on day 2 somewhere, even as a run stuffer, and maybe he develops. But when I watch him, he just doesn't excite me. Yeah, that's my honest opinion.
He falls into those like camps of players that you just like. Again, like size. Maybe there's some traits there. But then when you turn on the film, you're just not seeing it, like, and that's the thing. Like, we were actually like Darius Alexander quite a bit last year.
Yeah, has he done anything? Like, I did. And the thing with him is he was older, so it's kind of like D Knight. You want him to be playing and showing something if you take him high.
Yeah. So he's got 153 snaps, overall grade. I mean, again, this PFF stuff, 46.
Right, yeah, which isn't, like, you almost got to watch those snaps, but still.
Yeah.
What is it?
Like 6 pressures. Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, it's kind of probably one of those two. It's just like the thing is what's underrated. Like that's what's impressive of Nolan being hurt and just comes out like outstanding. Is because you even see Mason Graham's having some challenges this year. Like that defensive tackle position or 3-tech, whatever it is. It's a tough position to like kind of develop into in the NFL. Like you're starting to see Clancy come on a little bit. Those types of guys, but like in terms of like first year impact. It's like that's a position that needs some development too.
Yeah, Nick asked about Xavier Harris from Ole Miss. Big sumbitch. And he's got a little pass rush. Like I've seen this guy rush off the edge on tape, and it's the biggest thing with him is going to be off field. Like, I think he's a solid player, solid run defender, gives you something as a pass rusher. Big size, The size kind of reminds you of Deion Walker last year from Kentucky. But this kid is more, and I think he plays with better pad level than Deion Walker did last year at Kentucky. And I know he had a back, but that was some bad tape for Walker, which is why he fell to the 5th, to be fair. But Harris had some off the field. He had like a domestic violence allegation. I don't know that he ever was, whatever happened with that. I mean, he's back playing at Ole Miss, so I know that was over a year ago. But I'm sure that off the field could knock him down a little bit. But he still intrigues me as like a potential day 2, type guy, or hey, he's there in the 4th round. Maybe you get it. Yeah, Zane Durant's been disappointing to me. I had him as my D tackle 2 or 3, Borson, but yeah, he is smaller and he's just not had much of an impact this season. Yeah, well, we're talking about the draft because it's trade deadline. There's picks are being flown out there, so it was brought up and we're just chatting about it. But trade happened. Saints traded Trevor Penning to the Chargers, which the Chargers lost Joe Alt for the season.
Damn.
Trevor Penning, I don't think's ever been very good since coming into the NFL, but at the same point in time, the Chargers need somebody, and it probably came down to this deadline because it's hard to get offensive linemen because everybody wants them and nobody has them. So you get
Trey's on the team. So what are we going to do, Dale? What are we going to do? We have to just give him a contract, right? Should we just give him a contract?
I mean, at the very least, when you don't trade him and get something, you've got to franchise tag him. But I would love to see them work out a 2-year deal now. Because, I'm sorry, Trey, but that 3-year deal's off the table because you played this season. That was going to be this season. Now you get a 2-year. Like, can we get 2 years at X amount with however much guaranteed? You're not getting any younger. So,
yeah, and it's Greg. It's definitely a fumble if we don't do anything with him in terms of extending him.
All right, like what was really stupid, even more than that, the Browns. Okay, so one game, Browns lose by over 20 points. Myles Garrett has 3 sacks, and the Eagles, if this is true, offered them 3 first-round picks. Browns, you are dumb as hell for not making that trade. Because what is having Garrett on the team doing for you guys? You guys are so dysfunctional that what is keeping Garrett on the team doing for you, really?
Yeah, the Browns probably should have done what the Jets did. Yes. I mean, honestly, right? Like, because they still need a quarterback before they can move forward as a franchise.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the point at, and especially Garrett being older? Like, I would argue they should have done that more to trade Garrett than the Jets with Sauce and Quinnen, who are still younger.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's just you want to see teams and whatever they do with it. Like we just went through the Jets draft class, an incredible class, got them value now with picks. Didn't materialize, but you like to see teams kind of being proactive and think ahead. Whereas like as a Bengals fan, I don't know how you guys feel. It just still it leaves me feeling like in limbo a little bit. Like, what is our plan moving forward?
Especially for the defense. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the offense, we're not as deep. The defense. Oh, I don't even know where you start with this defense is the problem.
Yeah. And that's just like the second half. You do have to like see some of these guys that were playing, the young guys, start to develop and show flashes, because if not, you go into next year and what do you count on? Like, where is your linchpin? Like,
Hopium.
who are you building around? Like you basically like have nobody. I mean, obviously we talk about Turner, Trey Hendrickson, like obviously like having him on the team, great. But like he's not going to be in your future for like, 4 or 5 years. Like his time, either, we sign him or not, his time is going to be limited. That's where we need to see in the second half. We're in evaluation mode. We need to see these guys start to flash, because then, and at that point, you go in the offseason, you're like, okay, Carter, Knight, they showed a lot of things down the stretch. They're really good players. Like that's something we can build around. Like right now, it's like hard to see the light through the trees because we just haven't seen those guys develop.
No, we haven't. And Antoine, yes, the deadline was at 4:00 Eastern time, so it passed 6 minutes ago. So unless something came in that wasn't reported, which usually don't happen, then it is over. No more trades. All we did was trade Logan Wilson for a 7th round pick. I don't know. Whatever.
Like we traded for Herbert for a 2nd round or 7th round pick last year. It was the inverse. We traded away a player for a 7th instead of acquiring one.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, I guess at this point. But yeah, that was from Pro Football Talk. I'm sure you guys saw that. Mike Florio, Duke Tobin thinks that heads are going to roll in Cincinnati and he could get fired anytime. I think they would have already fired him if they were going to fire him.
Hey.
I don't believe anything Mike Florio says, number one. But if he was to be fired, who would you want to take his? I would say give me somebody from the Eagles front office.
No, Duke Tobin Jr. works for the Eagles.
Yeah, but they got an assistant GM. Like, give me somebody like that.
Well, no, Dale. Like, I want to point out something with Mike Florio. Remember the day of the draft, he kept guaranteeing, "Oh, I think Burrow's going to get traded. I think the Bengals going to trade the pick. I think the Bengals going to trade the pick." I will never forget that with Florio. He kept assuming it was going to happen. I will never believe a word he says ever.
Yeah, he said something about a coaching firing this year too that just didn't even come close to being true.
Yeah, I don't take that guy at his word at all. Now, should Duke go? In my opinion, yes. He's been here since 1999. That would be part of the sweeping changes that need to be made. 3rd straight year missing the playoffs.
Yeah,
started up toward the top, and it would go through the coaches and then the whole coaching staff, and it'd be all new personnel in here.
Yeah,
because I mean, you have to at some point.
Well, that's what Greg and I were talking about before you hopped on, that the likelihood if you put a new GM in place, that comes with the coaching change too. It's just, it's like, and that's what Chicago's been chasing all the time. Like they always have like a new GM, but an existing coach, and then they get a new coach, and that GM like gets fired, and then a new quarterback.
Well, the Jaguars forever kept keeping their GM. They finally got rid of him, and honestly, they're not great, but they're trying. That was another trade, right? They traded for a receiver today. I don't think we talked about that one.
Yeah, who'd they get? Geez, slipping my mind already.
Jacoby Myers from the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, they Hunter already banged up at his size. Does that concern you, Dale? I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's like, I would have put him at corner, kept him at corner. I wouldn't have had him doing too much two-way stuff, like maybe a play here or there, on offense, but I don't know. He's not very big. That always worries me. I talked about it with Jaden Daniels, and he's hurt again. Like, yeah, he was great last year. And I know that Caleb Williams isn't that great either. Yeah, he had a good game because everyone has a good game against us. But that's why I had Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels and not Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. That body type, that frame is so easily injured. I've just seen it happen. And when you're a running type quarterback on top of it, it's rough.
Yeah.
Louis Riddick, this is a good one right here. I would love to have Louis Riddick. He's always given good advice about the Bengals and been positive. I would love to have Louis Riddick. Team him up with Flores. Hell yeah, man. Give me Marvin Lewis, GM and Groot as head coach. I would not be against Marvin Lewis as general manager. Guys, let's not forget, Marvin Lewis did a damn good job at developing players. Him and Duke did a damn good job together for those 5 years in a row before it was Wahey and Fisher. He did a hell of a job drafting players and developing them.
And Duke it's just like, even in our own careers, we're never in the same spot for forever, right? Like at some point, like he's put his 20 years in, like
26 with the organization.
yeah. And he had a run there where he was building. I mean, even during like, what was it, 2021, when we got Trey in free agency, there was a lot of those like things around the NFL, like, oh, the Bengals are actually setting the standard on how you should go about shopping for free agents, right? Getting them at good value as they're showing promise, like Trey took off in his career when he came over to Cincinnati. Like, he was applauded for that. And then, but yeah, since that, it almost feels like the death blow to him was that Cedric Ogbuehi draft. It just kind of feels like things is kind of fun. We had the Burrow draft and, T. Higgins, Logan Wilson.
I mean, no one should have been able to screw up Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, especially. Like,
right.
I mean, they shouldn't have, because T should have went in the first. He should have went to the Packers. Now, I know they got Jordan Love, blah, 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 but they were just in an NFC championship.
Right.
They should have got T. Higgins, but they didn't. And that's the obvious picks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not going to be like hateful towards Duke, but I just think everything has its end, right? Like, it's time to turn over a new leaf. And it's the same with Zach and maybe even the Zach apologists. Like, I definitely love what he's doing on offense, but like, there's going to come a point that Zach's not the coach for Cincinnati anymore. Right. It's like, it's a matter of time with these. Like, every coach that's hired is fired. Andy Reid got fired from the Eagles. Right. It's just like, I just kind of think.
And it was probably time, and they've won 2 Super Bowls since that. Andy kept getting them close, kind of like with Marvin, like, I could get us to the playoffs, but, and then it's like with Zach, okay, you got us there after, but, now maybe it's time to move on. Time to get fresh voices in here. Time to get, people that don't have loyalty to certain players or certain people on the staff. I mean, there's just always a time, and I think we've definitely hit that time. Third straight year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you could say, well, you didn't have Burrow. That's not an excuse to me. When Joe Flacco is playing at an MVP level since you traded for him, it's not an excuse that you don't have Burrow anymore. You're still 3-6. And Zach's the head coach of the whole team, which means he's responsible for the defense as well. Duke Tobin does not get off the hook. You are responsible for all these drafts. You fired Lou last year. Well, you brought in Al Golden. It doesn't matter. So those players aren't performing. That falls on you, Duke. Like, no one should get off scot-free, And that's part of the reset we're talking about. And I just think it's not even being crazy. Like, it's not even being crazy to expect the Bengals for missing the playoffs when you have the talent they have, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to just need not be the worst on the defensive side and to be able to draft halfway decently. And they picked one of the 2 or 3 players that so many of the fan base that actually follows the draft said, don't pick that guy.
Yeah.
You need an instant impact guy. You don't need a guy that needs development and could be a start. You need somebody that can come in and do something now.
Yeah.
But they went the total wrong direction.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yep.
It's just like I say, for me being a positive dude and all that and stuff, I do my best, but it's like, God, you're really putting me to the test right now.
Well, it's, and I think it's okay to feel.
And Dustin, you and I kind of had this conversation one time on Twitter and all that. It's okay to feel that way and all that and stuff. I mean, like I say, is there, like, Dale, I look at you and I've seen other people. It seems like the fans are predicting better, players than what the Bengals. Clearly, they think they know more than we do. I'm just so fed up saying I'm just tired of whatever happened to game tape. Whatever happened just to game tape, old-fashioned game tape.
Well, and production, like Gridiron Grading does a great job with all the production stuff. And like, it's just like, it feels like they completely ignore it based on who they draft early in the drafts, And I mean, hell, talking to Joe Goodberry like 5 years ago about draft stuff. He's like, production, RAS scores, and tape is always king. But if you're not factoring in all three of those things, you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just don't know what the Bengals are doing, period. Because it's like they clearly will leave out one or two of those things with high premium draft picks.
Mm-hmm. And, some of this is relationship building too, right? Like, I think we all saw, and I'm not going to throw a huge fuss about this, but it is one of those things where like small little details add up. Them not like attending like Ohio State game right down the road or right up the road, right? When you got like so many NFL prospects and, the Penn State, Ohio State, like just littered with guys. And that's like, yes, you still have the tape and you're still going to watch the tape, but like, what does it hurt to be there and then talk to the coaches after the game and get some like extra insight? Where did that
talk to the other people around the campus, Dustin, and about who they are as a person? That's how you don't. I mean, obviously, Nick Saban let his feelings known on how immature Jermaine Burton was when that draft pick happened. So, how much did you guys talk to a guy like Nick Saban about him before you took him with the 81st overall pick?
Yeah,
none.
Yeah,
that's stupidity.
Yeah.
That's arrogance. That's so arrogant to think that you don't have to do what everyone else has to do to get to know these players, but also these people.
Yep.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah. It's definitely arrogance too. It's like, Duke gives his presser at the beginning of the combine. He's always just very, like he has certain moments of like humor in there, but he's always very smug. Like he just feels very unrelatable at this point too, and I'm just sick of that. Like I want a GM that gets up there with tons of energy. I want a GM when the Bengals win the Super Bowl, like he's actually fun to freaking party with. Like Howie Roseman took a beer can to the head, the dude's fun. Now, what does he do at the Eagles? Like you've heard a scout talk about there. He runs at like a Army like division. Like, hey, they are grinding there. I don't want to call out the work ethic of the Bengals. Like I just don't want to do that. But there is a certain point of this, Leslie, if I hear like, if you become too buddy with like coworkers, like how much are you pushing each other? Those relationships are important. I think you should like spend some time outside of the office and stuff. But there is a certain moment of like, you need to have somebody pushing these guys and like grinding the tape for an extra hour, going out on these visits. I kind of wonder about that too.
Yeah. Well, even the scouts, like they talk about how they're doing stuff. They're scouting other NFL teams in season and stuff like that. No, why are we doing that? You should hire enough people that you have people to do that. And then your scouts should be year-round scouting the draft. Like, because it's like, I wonder if you talk to Duke Tobin right now, if he had any idea about any of these players.
Yeah, that's fair.
A draft, like if I was trying to have a conversation about draft prospects, and that's the guy who's ultimately going to be the head man making that pick. And I know there's months to catch up, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But it's not like he's busy making trades. It's not like he's busy doing anything else. Like, you could at least be grinding the tape and knowing about every single prospect.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them do that. I don't. Because they're like, we got to focus on the game week and hire more people. Right. Have more people that you can really rely on because this is all they do year round.
Yeah. And if you're not going to hire more people, I want you using the best technology that's available at your fingertips, to help run more efficiently. I don't, and that's the thing. I don't even think, Dale, like you or I or anybody's asking you to like quadruple the scouting staff necessarily, but like, add some resources so people can focus. Like, in business, obviously, like having a little cross collaboration and like learning about other teams is important. But if that's like all you're doing all the time and you can't focus your attention on your job, like you're not going to be able to be great at it because you just don't have the bandwidth and you don't have the hours in the day to be able to do it either.
Right. And I highly doubt Paul Brown Jr. Once again, I think my hatred grows for a guy like that who has the title of vice president of player personnel. We've never heard this guy talk about the team. about a draft prospect, about anything with the Bengals, but that's his title. To me, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And I just think that this guy sits in an office and plays with his dick and watches Pornhub all day. Like, I don't know what he does. Like,
is that from what's that show on HBO? Yeah. God damn it.
Hey guys, I actually have to hop off.
All right, buddy.
Or something. I love you guys.
Love you, man.
Buddy.
See ya.
He was selling off the media company. Succession.
Oh, that's such a good. Yeah. I didn't pull it from that, but I do love that shit.
Yeah,
that was a good show.
He's like the dude watching the spaceship being launched and it blows up on his phone. That guy, I forget his name.
Is that Kieran Culkin's character?
Yeah.
That's Macaulay Culkin's brother plays that. Yeah, that character's like, oh fuck, like
yeah.
He's always hitting on that older chick, like he was more wrapped up in that than anything else. Yeah.
So
great show.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. That is him. Nostradamus, he asked thoughts on Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M.
Oh my god,
dude's a monster. He is, and he's so good, but he's got under 31-inch arm length. He's like 6'2". I think he's bulked up to at least 245. We'll see what he weighs. He's listed at 248. At one point at Bowling Green, he was like 225. But explosive. He's got a bag, dude. He's got such a bag of pass rush moves. It's so exciting. I got him in my top 20 on my board. Now, I know most people are like, you can't take him in the first because of the arm length. And I'm just like, he's a good football player. At some point, you go, good football player.
Yeah.
I don't care about your arms. Like,
yeah.
Like, fuck it. You're just good. You know how to set people up and use what you have. And you're super explosive. So for me, he's a guy taking the top 20. Now, the Bengals could be picking in the top 10. I'm not taking him that high, to be fair. But I love the kid as a prospect in general. I think he's around 16, 17 on my board right now.
That's where I'm at. And I think there's a time and place to look at arm length when the other traits aren't superior, right? Like, it's just like.
Well, this would be an outlier, like an outlier
right.
of all outliers.
Right.
To be fair. So I get that. But I'm also like, he's just really good. And the thing was, he was behind Stewart. He was behind the other kid last year from A&M. Shit. The bigger kid from Purdue. Blanking on the name. But, like, he was still generating pressure. And when those guys didn't play in the bowl game, his bowl game was phenomenal last year. And that's when I was like, I had him top 10 for my edge in summer scouting because I was like, this kid is ridiculous. And he's done nothing but get better and better this season. So, big fan of that kid.
Yeah, big fan. I'm in love with him since I saw him last year, and this year too. It's just like his explosiveness. I think Daniel Jeremiah, Move the Six podcast. They did a kind of a thing a couple years ago where they're talking about like the top pass rushers, and Trey included. It's like their get off rate. It's just like the superior pass rushers are able to get off. Now, are there games in which the arm length will become a factor? Yeah, of course. Like, that's just kind of how the NFL is. Like, you're not going to win every like Sunday. But for the most part, the value you would get out of him, and on those 3rd and whatever 9, 10s, just imagine because I even think that there was a play there that we had the Jets in like 3rd and 9, and we got one stop. That's where it's like somebody like that comes in a factor because he could just use his speed and explosiveness just to get around the offensive tackle, and stuff like that. Now, like. I just kind of think like those are the little pieces that you need on defense, and those are the downs that like you need to win. And the Bengals obviously this year just not getting any pressure on any down. So, yeah. So if he's there, man, I'd sprint to the podium to grab him.
Who was that? I was going through the
Cash out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought we were going to go full homer here. That's why I had Cripps comment up there for a little while. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Reese. I love me some Reese.
Armel Reese.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude. He's so good. He's number 1 on my board. I moved him up. He was 3rd. I moved him up from 3 to 1 overall. All players, all positions.
Yeah.
He's a freak. And I know positional value, linebackers, same conversation with Caleb Downs, safety. Good football players. Beast. Game changers. Franchise changers. Like, I think both of them had that potential.
Oh, yeah.
Downs for being a coach on the field, a leader, all of that for him. Like, that's where he would change a franchise, you know. He's going to bring everybody else up. Now, great player on the field, too. Don't get me wrong. But the Bengals are lacking a guy like that.
Man, and I love that you said bring everybody else up because, like, truth be told, there are going to be, like, no matter how great you build your roster, you're always going to have some type of weakness. It just is what it is. Like, there's just not enough good players. But, like, you draft a Downs or Reese, it just it just makes your defense, like, so much better right away. You know? Like, those guys make such an impact from a leadership, from just, like, playmaking, and the way that the offense has to scheme. Just think, like, you're an offensive coordinator and you go against, like, a Reese or Downs. Those are people that you have to actively, like, game plan for. So what does that usually mean? That gives your other, you know, teammates on the defense opportunities to win one-on-one matchups or free them up a lot because they're focusing so much attention on that player. Like,
and you can't game plan for them. The way, and this was like you would hope that your D coordinator would use these guys. The way Downs moves around, slot corner, deep safety, box safety, the way they move him around, you can't get, you know, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
And he knows what's coming. And he's a very reliable tackler. Will he miss one now and then? Sure, everyone does. Some miss them all the time. But he's such a reliable tackler in the back end of a defense and an eraser on the back end that he would change this team. And I know the positional value of a safety, but if we're picking, let's say, 8 to 10, because that's kind of where we're at right now, you know, with our record, I would take Caleb Downs. I don't even think Arvell Reese will be on the board, but if he is, I would take him. I know he's a linebacker, but Arvell Reese is so much more than a linebacker, Dustin.
Yep.
He's an edge rusher. Like, he could literally be just an edge rusher and be great at it.
I have a theory. I think you'd actually end up probably moving him to edge at some point in his career.
He very well could, but I think the way that Al specifically is using Demetrius Knight, Arvell Reese would be 10 times better in that role. Because he's playing so much on the line.
Is there a description for that position? I know there's always unique defensive names. Like,
I'm sure there is.
Linebacker. Yeah, like not a robber. I'm trying to think. But yeah, I get your point. Like how he's using Knight. If he was able to use Reese in that role, oh my God. Like,
I think Reese would be so good for that role. And he was willing to take Knight in the second round because he wasn't a second round pick at 25 years old and his play and everything. He wasn't a second round pick, but he took him there because that's what the role he envisioned for him. But he had to envision it. He couldn't just watch the tape and see it because Knight didn't go on the line like that. He didn't make plays like Arvell Reese. What does Arvell Reese have? 6-7 sacks on the season?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't and that's why it boggles my mind that he couldn't see that role if he wanted it and was going to use Knight the way he is with Jihad Campbell. Because that's what Campbell could do. Campbell came to Alabama as an edge rusher. Literally the perfect player for that role. Last year that you could have got at 17 overall was Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, this is Reese's first year fully starting. Like, he has so much more upside. And I think there was a time at Ohio State, I think his freshman year, that they were considering making the move with him to DN, but I'm glad they didn't, obviously. Yeah, Nostradamus, that's what I think it is. It's like the Viper role. But yeah.
Which is that's no, I was thinking that a little bit because that's Al Golden's Notre Dame defense always had a Viper. Right? And everyone talked about a Viper, but it's like, that is not Demetrius Knight. It's just not.
No.
It's not who he is.
I think there was a little bit over projection. Like I got it at first, just like looking at his downhill explosiveness that he did show on tape.
And his size, I guess in general, he is big.
Yeah. So I can kind of see like thinking like in projecting that. I'm not gonna get on Al big time with that, but now that like it's kind of not materialized or he's not really showing much there, I think it's kind of like, okay, let's back him off of that role and let him focus just on like one thing, you know. That's like asking a lot for a rookie. But I guess Dale, what do you want to see the rest of this year? Like what are you pinpointing? What are like what like obviously like we talked about development. I mean, is it just kind of like whatever you want to see like guys develop and like kind of like move on like we're talking about from the front office and coaching? Like what do you think's going to happen and what do you want to see the rest of this year? What do you I know I'm like
it's tough. No, it's tough because it's just some development, some hope that some players are worth being part of the solution on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, oh man, Chris Jenkins, Miles Murphy, these guys are getting snaps now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not doing anything. So they don't feel like part of the solution. You know what I mean? You feel like you can start to say those were bad picks. We know they're bad picks. Which is like, was Lou right not playing these young guys because he knew they were bad? So then I go back to, okay, did he not have the say that I thought he had in making the picks? Then Duke Tobin in this scouting department sucks. You know what I mean? Like, it has to fall somewhere. But I feel like the Bengals do just enough to tell us how involved the coaches are and this and that. The blame kind of goes, you don't know where to put the blame. Honestly, right? A little bit. Like, we don't as fans.
It's so true because I remember Charlie Goldsmith putting out an article that, Lou was Dax Hill and Zach Carter were Lou picks. Those were his guys, and he had a vision and a projection for those guys that he was able to sell to the front office, and it didn't come up. But then it's tough, like you said, to pinpoint or place the blame at one. Like they're elusive like that because there's other picks where it's like, I don't know if the coaches will want that guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like it's really hard to like figure out where the disconnect there is. It's like,
and honestly, it's almost hard to put the blame on the coaches the more I think about it. Because the draft is a year-round thing, just like I was saying with the scouts, their attention should be pulled. That the coaches' attention should not be at all on the draft till the season's over.
Yeah.
And yes, you still have, 3 months or so? I get that. It's a lot of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they have a say in who these players are, but they're doing the scouting combine, the pro days. They're trying to catch up on stuff that should already, like, if you just relied on your scouts and your general manager to really handle the draft and to really be locked into that shit year round, then you wouldn't need your coach's input. Like, I know that it's always like, oh, it's nice to have coach's input, blah, blah, blah. The more I think about it, maybe you shouldn't. Because if somebody has 12 months, I mean, you should have it a little bit, right? But you should be able to go to them and be like, here's the guys. What's your thoughts on them? Let's have a conversation about them.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's kind of been proven that coaches aren't great drafters. Like Bill Belichick, case in point.
Yeah.
Like when he took over, and then, the whole quote from Bill Parcells back in the day, I was really young, but he was like, they don't let me shop for the groceries kind of thing. And when he had a chance to shop for the groceries, it didn't go well. So it does have to be a line drawn in the sand.
And I really kind of always thought the opposite. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, I love that the coaches have a say and they don't other places.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, if somebody's doing 12 months of work or, I'll just speak for myself, and I don't work for the team. I got a 2028 list. I'm keeping up on these guys. 2027, 2026. Like, you have to be always on it. And I'm sure some of their scouts start doing that. But if you're pulled in the direction that you have to help the Bengals prepare in week, well, that's way more important if they're asking you to be part of that. Your focus is no longer on that day-to-day draft, and that's why I think expansion of both departments would help.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. I 100% agree. Like, put some really good resources in there. There's some smart people that use good technology that are kind of up on this whole draft stuff that we always talk about before. Like you were just mentioning, pass rush win weight, that sort of thing. And like I think it'll be one of those things where even the Bengals would be like, oh wow, look at what we've been missing on because we've been doing it this way for so long, and it's time to kind of give up with the times. Like, they've made some modernization definitely across the organization. We can tip our caps to that. You did a pretty decent job of locking up some key players, albeit maybe cost you some money and some time this year. So kind of fumbled that. Nonetheless, signed the guys, got them under contract. So there's some things that they've improved upon and done well. It's time to do the full circle. Like, modernize this front office, add resources, use data, use analytics, use all the draft guys, the consensus boards. Use that to your advantage. Don't look at it as a negative thing. Look as a very positive thing. These are resources that makes your job a lot easier, and use those things.
Like, I can't imagine that they listen to their analytics guy based on some of these picks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, somebody I would love to know,
Yeah.
How much of your input do they really listen to?
Well, and this is the year too where it's like when you look at our second and third round picks, Knight at second, that's a coach's pick. Definitely a coach's pick. Like, that's Al Golden being a linebacker guy and saying, hey, I want this guy.
Well, there's nothing analytical that you take a 25-year-old linebacker with 1 year in the SEC that came from Charlotte before and was at Georgia Tech, where he was originally recruited as a quarterback.
And what's their evaluation too? It's like, where did Dane Brugler have Shamar Stewart? 9 on his board?
Yeah, and I fully disagreed with Dane.
Yeah. So it's like, they formed their board. At what point do you adjust your board too? Like, don't just form your board and not have the willingness to adjust too, right? Like, maybe you get some more information in a couple more days before the draft about your prospect. Now, I know that's tough because you don't there's so much information. You don't want too much information. You can become paralyzed in your decision making, but
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's one of those things that's just like, how that feels like a board pick. Like, they had him there and we're going to take him no matter what. Like, I just kind of they had their mind made up right away. Now, they did say that they're definitely going to take Walter Nolan. Was there a scrambling, a panic, kind of thing? Did you take in consideration how to build the defense? And that's the other disappointing thing. It's what are we going about actually building this defense too? What is this? What's the personality? What do we want to be known for? I think those all factor in too. It just kind of feels like some of these picks are pretty slapstick. Like, you throw something against the wall and something sticks, and that's not good either.
Well, if you're going to take a Walter Nolan, and hey, that would have been a great choice in my opinion. Obviously, I would have agreed with that. If that's true that they were going to take him, he went 1 pick before. Then they did nothing to try to address the fact they still needed another pass rusher. You know what I mean? They didn't bring anybody in. They didn't do anything to address that. That's where you're talking about what is their plan. That's the part that I throw my hands up and go, I don't think they have one. Because you had to know, hey, we need a pass rusher. And they should have been looking for ways to get another pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Shamar Stewart. No, that's not what you need. No, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But we got a super chat from KP, generous.
Thanks, KP.
Again.
Shout out from KC.
KP from KC.
And that barbecue.
They're running the draft on MS-DOS, while the league is on iOS 20, bruh. They got VCR tapes of players versus getting an email link. Bro, they got to wait on the tapes to come in. Like, they're getting them like 2 weeks before the draft starts.
Duke still goes.
Getting them on choppy VHS quality.
Duke goes the Blockbuster if it was open still, and he gets the popcorn from there. Which I like Blockbuster. He goes to Family Video.
Is there still that one Blockbuster?
Yeah, Bend, Oregon. It's the last. Yeah, I think the one in Alaska closed. There's 2. One in Alaska, one in Bend, Oregon. So there's one more standing. But yeah, there are internal systems. You got to kind of. This is like crazy because like then you see them modernize the locker room and have those like heaters for the helmets and stuff. It's like you see like little bits of potential. And I think the game day atmosphere that they've created has been phenomenal. It feels like a college atmosphere on those night games. And I know there was a lot of Chicago fans. I got like my surround sound hooked up here. I turn it up like as high as I can when I'm watching the games at home. It was loud in that stadium on Sunday for the game. So it's like they've done some good things, but it's just like the talent acquisition side is just very disappointing. That needs to just be totally cleaned up and modernized. And yeah, I think it's just hit that life cycle of like where like Duke, you've been here for this many years, and then Zach, you're 7 years in now, and we're going in the wrong direction. Like, let's clean house, And like I think what somebody like Vrabel shows, like you can come in and have a coach come in and make an immediate impact, right? Like right away. So get a good draft, have a solid free agency plan. New coach, new GM, whatever you want to call him, de facto GM, whoever the freak, just let's start fresh. Let's start new. Let's go into 2026, just like revamped. Like we're not holding on to these because, if we go in status quo into next season, like we're still not going to trust the process at all or anything that they're doing. And you got to feel like they got to know that too. Like you got to just like, hey, we're exhausted by seeing the same faces. Like, let's get some new people in there and get your fan base excited again. You have the key pieces. You got Burrow, you got Chase, you got Higgins. I mean, look at this offense. It's humming. Any coach would love to come here with this offense and coach it up.
Yeah. It's how much does the front office care? We don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
they're still making money. We talked about that. It's impossible to not make money in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's just that's a reality that like you don't want to have to face because then you just totally check out too. It's like the glimmer of hope. You hope that they care.
Yeah,
you want to just make
but
but who knows?
To show us would be what you said. Yeah, GM, all these things. Like, I'm sorry, Paul Brown Jr., you don't get your fancy title anymore and your little bonus, your Christmas bonus. We're hiring an actual person for that position, an actual general manager. We're letting them do the actual football stuff. Not these, you're just part of the family, so you get this title. Come on now. Like, that's what would actually get me excited,
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I think that it has to happen. It has to happen. Like, we need to see some sort of changes. Like, this is very unacceptable. We're just going in the wrong direction, like it's just, I almost think like too with the players, like how I think one of the things that Zach, he's built this like almost like partnership kind of thing where like, I don't think the players fear the coaching staff. And I think there was a time and place for that, right? Like when you're a really young team, you're up and coming and stuff like that. Like it's a new age of players and things along those lines. And I like that there's a collaboration standpoint. They look at each other as peers, partners, that sort of thing. But now that we've evolved 7 years into this journey now, I think it kind of show that even that's went stale. And we probably need a coach to come in here and build some toughness. We need a coach in here that creates a little bit of fear. We need a coach that comes in and just, demands excellence and things like that. I just don't think we're getting it. There was a fun ride to Zach's career, and I appreciate what he did and what he's been able to build. And I do appreciate the offense that he's built around Burrow. I think we see a lot of NFL organizations not surround their quarterback with the right offense that fits them. So I do appreciate that, but I think everything else has just gotten stale and it's going in the wrong direction.
Well, I don't know, man. Like with Zach, I did not like that. I want to ask your opinion on that, but like Chase Brown, he wants to rip Chase Brown. Oh, we can't have be mad at that. Why don't you be mad about the defensive performance, Zach? And maybe he is behind closed doors, whatever, and he just doesn't want it in public, and I get that. But man, it just seemed tone deaf to come out and rip Chase Brown for being passionate, saying, fuck him, get a stop, basically.
Yeah, and that response kind of like gives me the feeling of like a little bit like your coach is spiraling a little bit, because the easy thing would have been to say like Chase Brown's a very passionate player. I like to see passion out of our players and holding each other accountable. That's all you need to say. It's like he went out of his way to make a point. And that's not something he typically does either. I think he's always been pretty tight-lipped with the players and like kind of protecting them. So that was kind of uncharacter out of him. It just kind of shows like his back is against the wall. And that's not a good feeling either when your coach starts doing stuff that they're not known to do.
And it's like, so what? You're going to coach the offense, why don't you say you didn't like how the defensive players were laughing in the locker room if that's true? And you want to get to the bottom of that. Like, why don't you say that? I don't know. Like, it's just like, do you think you only coach the offense and defense should be somebody else's problem? Because that's not how it should ever work. And I guess that goes back into the GM, the coaches, and the drafting stuff too. Like, do the Bengals say, well, we hired an offensive coach and you're the play caller, so you're just an offensive guy. Whoever we hire for defense, that's their job. So we'll fire them if they don't do their job, like Lou. And now if maybe Al Golden will get fired. But the root of the problem is higher than that. It's Duke Tobin or it's Zach Taylor as the head coach, that should be in control of both sides. Like, I don't know. It's like they shift blame so that no one has blame.
Yeah, there is a certain element of like, unfortunately, coaches trying to protect their job too. One of those things that we have to deal with on top of all this. So yeah, I think, like you said, pretty tone deaf there. Didn't love it. I think the ownership on the defense piece, that's almost like a part where maybe like don't be so transparent about that. Just say like, hey, we need to play better. Give the coaches speak, because you're just ultimately you're going to open yourself up for things on that too, where it's like, oh, I can give input to the defense, but I don't major in the defense. It makes it feel like you're trying to detach yourself from the defense, all while supporting the coaches. So like, Zach, which one is it? You can't have it both ways, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's what, and I know like maybe Al wouldn't like Zach over his shoulder, just like Jim Knowles didn't like Ryan Day. And going back to the Buckeyes again, Crip, sorry, but Ryan Day handing that over so he could be more involved with the defense a couple of years ago, and then he's more involved again. It's just, I like that. I'm the head coach. My ass is on the line too. So I'm going to do everything I can to be in there helping the defense. I would just like to see that.
Yeah. Say like, he was just like, I'm giving my input based on things that I see. It should be more like, no, you're dedicating your time to sitting in those defensive meetings, partnering. Like, Al is coming here with a bad roster, like help him out even more, right? Like, don't make it like, oh, like I trust him and I'm just gonna like continue to do his thing. Like, no, we're into this together. And you have pitcher on the offensive
That's
side.
what I was going to. It goes back to ego for me.
Yeah.
Because exactly. Like Zach not handing the play calling over to pitcher so he can be more involved with the defense and not be the one that's him. It's me and pitcher with the game plan. Okay, Zach, how about you just let him, the quarterback coach and receiver coach, all those guys come up with the game plan. You focus on the defense because that's the side of the ball. You're the head coach. You're the head coach. You can be an offense. You're still the head coach. And you go and you focus on the defense. You have no focus on the offense. Hand that over to them.
Yeah.
It's arrogance and ego once again.
Yes.
I feel like there's too much of that in this organization.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. There has to be a little bit like I am taking the feedback and I'm adjusting and I'm going to do what's right for this organization rather than constantly like telling people everything you're doing is right and you could do no wrong. That's very frustrating, And I think there's a certain amount of humility if like those guys, even Duke showed that over the years. We might be a little more lenient with these guys because they are being transparent and they're open to new ideas and feedback and like owning up to the mistakes. Like when you don't have the results and also you're doubling down on your processes, that's when it's like we're coming out with the pitchforks because you're not listening and you're not adjusting and it's not working and it's very disappointing.
I think that's a perfect way to end it because that's kind of how it's been. So recap for the Bengals trade deadline. We traded Logan Wilson for a 7th round pick to the Cowboys. Now, there's plenty of other action. The Jets had a fire sale, all this stuff. A couple wide receivers moved around, things like that. But no Trey Henderson trade. So that'll be one to keep an eye on that we'll talk about in the future because at minimum, you got to franchise tag him. You can't get potentially a 3rd round. That's the thing. We have so many needs that we need to spend money. So you could not even have a 3rd round comp pick if you're going and trying to replace a Trey Henderson if you're losing him, so to me, not to even get a 2nd round pick is something we're going to talk about in the future. At minimum, I feel like they got to franchise tag him or a 2-year extension after this season. Now you can't just do nothing and then hope it works out.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to. I saw Nostradamus's. I haven't looked at the free agent class if I'm being honest for next year.
I looked at it briefly and it didn't look good, but I didn't dive into it.
Yeah,
and there'll always be some more guys that get cut and come up and like, guys that weren't working out somewhere, but it's like, hey, no, they showed some flashes, and those are the guys you got to jump on.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna have this chunk of money, this cap space, just get Trey signed. Let's not go back and forth. Do that early in the offseason. Hell, do it before the season ends. I'd actually lock up Flacco too.
I would love it. Well, and that's going to be one of those things. Does Flacco want to play? Is he willing to be our backup next year? But I would love to have him as our backup next year if he wants to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, man, that would be feeling like you had a real backup if Joe goes down again.
Well, then also that would give you that bridge to develop the next guy. So, we talked about maybe using a 5th or 6th rounder on like a development guy. Like, you don't have to throw that person in as a backup right away. You can let him develop, learn from Flacco. And I think there's, Joe.
But we don't have a 5th rounder.
True. Valid.
I was hoping to get that back in a Logan Wilson trade, but we didn't.
Yeah. But and there, I think there might be some things that Joe Burrow can learn from Flacco too. During this time, like, I mean, the efficiency in which our offense is operating is pretty superb right now. So, what are some things that he can glean, Joe Burrow, and having him as a voice, as a veteran?
I think it'd be great.
It'd be great. Yeah.
Which is honestly something that they really screwed up. You should have had a guy like that this whole time with Burrow. And it's like, hey, Burrow's great. And once again, is that arrogance? Is that back to Zach Taylor? Well, I don't need a veteran in here. I'm a veteran. I was once a Nebraska quarterback. I'm like, fuck you, Zach Taylor. Fuck you, Zach Taylor. Fuck you, Zach Taylor. Fuck you, Duke Tubman. Fuck you, Al Golden. Fuck you, Mike Brown, Katie Brown, Troy Blackburn, and fucking Paul Brown Jr. That guy fucking sucks. He don't do anything.
Yeah, he's closing the blinds and letting the emails just go by, playing with himself.
He's fucking jerking that thing so hard.
Nepo, baby.
Rubbing that fucking shit raw, guarantee it. All right. That's a good way. That's a better way to end it than the other way. All right. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll be back on Friday because we got no more trade deadlines to have pop-up show for. So appreciate y'all.